The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Today on the program, the House of Representatives doing just what it was designed to do, have rigorous and passionate debates about finding its next speaker. Don't buy into the media and to the rhino narrative that this is chaos and that Matt Gaetz is a villain. Don't listen to Levin. Don't listen to Hannity. Don't listen to anyone who would condemn what's going on over there. They are rooting out rhinos and making it more conservative and America first over there. That's where the people's voice is heard. It has chaos built into the system. We will be fine. And the number one priority over there is not Israel. I stand with Israel, but it is not. America's borders are on fire. We are being invaded and we will be attacked. This has got to be our number one priority. All of this, plus President Trump and his stand on abortion, why we need to continue to support President Trump. I will explain why. Ladies and gentlemen, The Right Side with Doug Billings is upon you. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey everybody, my name is General Mike Flynn, and I'm here to do a big shout out for my great friend and one of the best in the business, Mr. Doug Billings. Right Side with Doug Billings, Right Side with Doug Billings. Doug is the future of the airwaves when it comes to independent broadcasters and podcasters. He is the new Rush Limbaugh. He's exactly what America needs right now, looking for honesty, looking for wisdom, looking for truth, looking for patriotism. Listen to Doug Billings at Right Side with Doug Billings. God bless you and God bless America, and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are winning. We're winning, winning, winning. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Are you ready?
We are not liberal snowflakes who melt away in the face of tragedy, adversity, and challenge. We are a covenant nation under God, and His divine providence is not dead and it's not gone. It is living within each and every one of you. And you will bring it to life in such a way that the world has never seen before. We never back down. We never give up. We march forward.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Thanks for joining us from around the planet. I appreciate you very much. Coming to you from smack dab in the middle of the fruited plain of the United States of America, where we meet in determined prayer and determined patriotism. Just back from a great time in Florida, Miami, Florida, Trump Doral for the Reawaken America tour. Great event out there. And we have another event coming up as well, ladies and gentlemen, the Determined Patriotism Conference that I am hosting to be held in Kansas City on November 10th and 11th. You want to come out. It's Veterans Day weekend, and we will have the likes of General Flynn, Mike Lindell, Mel Kay, Ann Vandersteel, Christy Hutcherson, Tom Renz will be there, Dr. Jane Ruby, young Alex Stone will be there with us. We'll have Karen Kingston, Jane Hampton Cook, and many others will join us as well. Kansas City, November 10th and 11th. You can get tickets at determinedpatriotismconference.us. Determinedpatriotismconference.us. And tickets $75 over there for both days. Specific ways in which we can confront, get involved with, and combat the chaos that's been thrust upon us at our local levels of government, how we take back election integrity and work to save the republic that God himself gave us. So again, Determined Patriotism Conference, determinedpatriotismconference.us. Get tickets over there. If you use promo code Doug, you'll get $10 off the cost of a ticket. All right, so here we are. Two major stories going on. The United States House of Representatives continues to be a story, and of course, the developing war between Israel and Hamas in the Middle East. We're going to touch on both of those today, and I want to begin here in the United States because it's relative and related to what's going on in Israel. So our Republican-controlled House of Representatives is still searching for its speaker. The number one item on their agenda, ladies and gentlemen, and this is hard for me to believe and hard for me to swallow, but the number one agenda, as stated by the Republican, quote unquote, members of the House of Representatives, is that they want to support a bipartisan statement on the support of Israel. All right, folks, Look, everybody who's watched this program, all of you who have become the most intellectually mature members of all of podcast land because you watch this program, we all support Israel. We all do everything we can to voice our support for Israel and stand against the absolutely barbaric atrocities that were conducted by Hamas a couple of weeks ago. Everyone in this republic who has any capability of empathy, justice, and morality, we all side with Israel. I mean, unless you're at Harvard or another organization that supports sleeper cell terrorist groups of hate, prejudice, and terrorism, unless you're at one of those places, you support Israel because you're intellectually mature. But in this context, ladies and gentlemen, during this current state of play in America, this is not, it's simply not the number one priority in our country, nor should it be, this Israel bipartisan statement in the House of Representatives. The number one statement? Are you kidding me? Look around this country. Folks, we have got to stop putting the plight, the fight, and the issues of people and countries around the planet ahead of our own. Our agenda needs to be worked on. Our goals and issues need to be priorities. I don't mean any disrespect to Israel, but I'm an American first conservative. To put other countries and their issues first is to adopt a globalist preference that we have got to resist. We've got to fight against adopting this globalist attitude that would dare to convince us that we have to interfere and intercede in every foreign affair out there. We've got to stop it. Same thing is true with Ukraine. I'm not just focused on Israel. Our number one priority is America. We have a never before seen crisis and an invasion going on at our southern border. It's destroying our national identity. It's diluting our American identity. It's crippling our economy. It's inviting hundreds and thousands and millions of people into this country who we haven't vetted, who we can't track, and who are terrorists in the mix. And they are at this very moment planning to attack cities across the country. If you don't wrap your hands and head around that, there's no hope. We have got to be honest about this. We've got to admit the reality, and we've got to demand from our representatives in the House and in the Senate to begin to properly prioritize all of this. Thousands of American citizens are dying from fentanyl poison every day because of this illegal, massive immigration invasion happening at the border. Children are being trafficked. Illegal immigrants are being given free access to our medical, educational, and our housing sectors. A resolution to offer support to Israel is not America's first priority. Because what our elected officials are saying when they say that, they're making the evil attacks on Israel's border the number one priority. And they're denying that the evil attacks on America's border and on America's people are the number one priority. They're denying us. You've got to ask yourselves if these people in elected office really are committed to an America First agenda. Do they really know what putting America first means? It doesn't look like it. Steve Scalise. A lot of people out there rooting for Steve Scalise. Yes, we need somebody in there to be, he needs to be the guy for the new Speaker of the House. Well, his first priority, he said it himself, was to put forth a resolution to support Israel. And that's part of the reason, ladies and gentlemen, that he couldn't get enough conservative votes to secure the eventual nomination. And that's why he withdrew. But you don't learn about this on the mainstream media. You don't hear these angles and this take and this truth on the mainstream media. It's what the rhinos like Mark Levin and Sean Hannity and others who have bemoaned the ouster of Kevin McCarthy don't understand. They think that this is crazy, that Matt Gaetz is a criminal. There is a group of strong America First conservatives in the House, and Levin and Hannity and others in the media don't get this. The strong group of America First conservatives in the House who are purging the House of Representatives of rhino leadership. Levin is wrong to disparage the 8 conservatives headed up by Matt Gaetz, who called for and won the motion to vacate Speaker McCarthy's seat. He's wrong, Levin is. So is anyone who would condemn this. They don't think it through properly. They don't think it through with a true conservative lens, I'll tell you that much. All right, up against our first break, ladies and gentlemen, time flies. I'll be right back. Don't forget the Determined Patriotism Conference, November 10th and 11th in Kansas City. Head over to determinedpatriotismconference.us and get tickets today. Only $75, but if you use the promo code Doug, you'll get $10 off. Determinedpatriotismconference.us. I'll be right back. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Doug Billings here on the set of my show, The Right Side. I want to talk to you about my Determined Patriotism Conference. I say on the show, we meet in determined prayer. We meet in determined patriotism. Determined patriotism is the hard work of restoring our republic to the divine providence of God and the true intent of our founding fathers. We'll learn specific ways by which you can get involved in your local level. Learn about how to do that, to reclaim the republic from this coalition of immorality from the radical liberal left. But Doug, I think that I heard somewhere that November 10th and 11th is opening day for deer season. Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand that your right to hunt, among many other rights, are at risk? Put your priorities in order. Hunting can wait. Save the republic. Come out to Kansas City, November 10th and 11th. DeterminedPatriotismConference.us and join myself, General Michael Flynn, Mike Lindell, Tom Renz, Father James Altman, Mel Kay, Ann Vandersteel, Karen Kingston, Dr. Jane Ruby, Mike Brown, the Kansas GOP chairman, some sheriffs, local election integrity expert Thad Snyder, and many, many more. DeterminedPatriotismConference.us. Specific ways by which we can save our republic. Nothing, not even deer season, ladies and gentlemen, is more important than that. Put your priorities in order. Believe it. For the republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that you could change the trajectory of your aging process? Look and feel better, live younger, be more active, less pain when you move around, sleep better, diminish the lines and the wrinkles on your face? Really? This is what I'm telling you. It's possible. You see, low stem cell activity happens when we get older, and it could be causing many of the health problems that some people have in the world today. Because as we get older, we have less stem cell activity, which means we age faster and we heal slower. The secret is a clinically proven and patented phototherapy non-transdermal patch, whose technology is the result of over 90 clinical studies and over 20 years of research. Your healthier life can begin today, and you can discover true age reversal. Age reversal, ladies and gentlemen. Please go to liveyounger.doug.us. liveyounger.doug.us, ladies and gentlemen. Get over there today. Or if you'd like, text my name, Doug, to 41372. Doug, text it, 41372. And get over to liveyounger.doug.us. Get younger, feel younger. I'm doing it. I'm wearing this patch. I feel great. And so will you. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings. The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Thanks for joining us. Coming to you from the fruited plain, smack dab in the middle of it. the fruited plain, and we do take a lot of joy over here, I might add. You've heard me say this before, pointing out the intellectual immaturity of liberals everywhere. So, yes, picking up on where we left off, the 8 conservative America First Republicans in the Missouri House of the United States House of Representatives have been heroic in their efforts to weed out the rhinos within that chamber. And this is part of what we're seeing. The chaos that you see are the pangs of death for the other rhinos that are experiencing ousters and the quelling of their voice and their influence from within that chamber, and the people's voice rising up. That House of Representatives is much more than the Senate, the place where the voice of the people is heard. And so that's what you're seeing play out in what the liberal media labels chaos and disarray, and what rhinos will call the same thing. It's supposed to be this way. There's supposed to be robust, passionate debate about these kinds of issues. And we see people rising to the top, getting these nominations. Steve Scalise, one of the ones who we should talk about, because I know there's a lot of people out there, perhaps some of you, who like Steve Scalise. Now, I have nothing against him personally, nothing. He's a very nice guy. The guy was shot almost to death few years ago. He's got a rare form of cancer. I don't wish any bad will on Steve, but Steve is a neocon, ladies and gentlemen. He's part of the never-ending war-waging rhino contingent within that house that supports endless wars, funding to Ukraine. Scalise favors that. And he's a cheerleader for Zelensky, who is not the good guy over there. And so we've got to be able to tell the truth about these people without making it personal, right? So he's a rhino, he's a neocon, and a telltale sign of the reason why true America First conservatives should have known this about Scalise is that the abject jackass himself, Adam Kinzinger, endorses Scalise. If Kinzinger endorses you, you know it's trouble. So anybody with half a brain would have picked up on that, like we did here on this program. Scalise represents the establishment politics, folks, and that's why his nomination ultimately failed within the House. Now, the media doesn't understand this. They don't report it because they might not know about it, to be honest with you. They don't know the depth and the breadth of the kind of stuff that we talk about here. They don't get into these nuances. We got to continue to get our America First message out to the general public and let our representatives hear our collective voices. This is what the House of Representatives is for. In the case of people like Steve Scalise and Nikki Haley, my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, on the conservative side, Nikki Haley is not our friend. Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney, you know the list. These people are not true conservatives. They are rhinos. They're neocons. They're part of the establishment swamp that we still need to drain. We have much, much work to do, but we also, ladies and gentlemen, we have so much to be grateful for in these scenarios. Look at what's happened in these scenarios that I've just talked about with Steve Scalise and Kevin McCarthy. We've had 2 victories whereby we've taken out rhinos from contention to the Speaker of the House role. We took out McCarthy, and then we took out Scalise. That's good news. That's hopeful news. So don't let the media and other rhinos convince you that this is chaos and the Republican Party in the House of Representatives is dysfunctional. Nonsense, abject BS, and not true. These kinds of debates and calls for nominees is exactly how the House of Representatives was designed to work, designed by our founders. These debates that we're having and we're seeing and we're hearing about represent your unheard voices becoming heard. These debates are precisely, my friends, what's going to help weed out the rhinos and the establishment swamp dwellers of the Republican Party. So this is good stuff. And the word that I'm getting is that within the House, and in fact, within the entire Republican Party in the elected class in D.C., is that the MAGA members of the House, which is growing, by the way, quickly and substantially, these MAGA members are backed by we the people, and they have lambasted the establishment. They have come after the members of the establishment in these private sessions, and it's because you have let your voice be heard at your local representatives in your local communities. And we have seen McCarthy and Scalise, as a result of your voice being heard, be kicked to the curb with regards to this Speaker of the House process. So this is all monumentally important. And even the mainstream media, Trump-hating news outlets like the Washington Post are reporting that the MAGA members of the House are looking at other America First options, including President Trump as Speaker. Now, there's other names besides Trump. That one, of course, is huge. Who wouldn't want to see that? But there's other names on the short list as well. Lee Zeldin from New York. You've got Kevin Hern of Oklahoma, Mark Green of Tennessee, and, of course, Jim Jordan of Ohio. I'm going to pick up right there, talk about the contenders, and talk about President Trump in the role of Speaker of the House when we come back. I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, determinedpatriotismconference.us. Head over there and get tickets today. Kansas City, General Michael Flynn, Mike Lindell, Tom Renz, Mel Kay, Christy Hutcherson, Ann Vandersteel, Alex Stone, many, many others. We're going to be there. Kansas City, November 10th and 11th, the Determined Patriotism Conference. determinedpatriotismconference.us for tickets. Use promo code Doug and get $10 off. I'll be right back after this break. Stay with me. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Doug Billings here. Are you like me and spending over $100 a month on streaming platforms, streaming services? I mean, you want to watch sports, you want to watch specials on TV, you want to watch movies, you want to have the classic TV channels, you want to have your local channels, you want to watch your favorite sports team, whatever it may be. And you're paying over $100 a month to all these various people. Some of them may only charge you $10 a month, but that's just one. You subscribe to 10 of those, and it's a lot of money. It's too much money. I have a Patriot company named Q Streaming, Q-C-U-E, Q Streaming, that bundles all of these availabilities, your favorite local channels, all of your local channels, no matter what city you're in, sports, even the pay-per-view sports, so you don't even have to pay the pay-per-view fee, movie channels, like I said, sporting events, specials, it's all right there. I want you to go to therightside.myqstreaming.com, therightside.myqstreaming.com, Q, C-U-E, streaming, Q Streaming, ladies and gentlemen, $59.99 a month for everything. Your local football, baseball, hockey, basketball, college sports, everything. Bally Sports, the NFL Network, the Major League Networks, all of it. My Q Streaming. And the website is therightside.myqstreaming.com. Get over there. Save yourself some money. Cancel all those other platforms. My Q Streaming is a Patriot-owned service. The Right Side. myqstreaming.com. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen, for the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever heard of electromagnetic pulse, EMP for short? I've got a device here that I'm going to hook up to my car. I've got one that looks similar to it that I'm going to hook up to my breaker box in my house. EMP Shield, EMPshield.com. Go there and use promo code Doug. EMP pulse magnetic energy can come from the sun. It can happen in nature, but it also can happen from foreign nations who don't necessarily take too kindly to us. It can happen in nuclear blasts, things like that you've heard and seen in the movies. Now, I'm not saying a nuclear blast is going to happen, but this device, the EMP Shield, simple to install. Listen, if I can do it, and I'm no Einstein, you can do it. Hook it up to your car battery, hook it up to your breaker box in your home or your apartment, wherever. Make sure that you're protected in case of an electromagnetic pulse outbreak in this country or around the world. It will protect you. You want to be able to go from point A to point B.
Get one today. EMPshield.com, promo code Doug. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Thanks for joining us again from all around the planet. We appreciate you. We here pointing out everything we can as far as the truth. The media won't tell you about the reasons, not all of them anyway. The chaos that they claim is going on over there is all atrocious, and it's something to be worried about. You even hear it from members of our own party, the Republican Party, the Rhinos. They're out there making a big deal about this chaos in the House, and they are putting forth their agenda items that shouldn't be outranking anything that's happening here in the country. So we have some names that have been put forward. Jim Jordan, of course, probably the most popular of the names, but one of the other top contenders is, of course, Donald Trump himself, President Trump. You have Representative Troy Nehls of Louisiana, who's nominated President Trump, who's actively campaigning for him. And President Trump said himself that he would be open to doing it, even though he is, of course, I know, endorsed Jim Jordan. I understand, but it's going to be interesting to see how these next round of debates go and to see if President Trump gets any kind of meaningful support in that endeavor. I mean, why not do it? Representative Nehls put forth a logical case for Trump. He's the leader of our party. He's the leader of the Republican Party, and it's logical that we should choose him. It's logical for everybody to choose him. Conservatives should support him. He's available. He said he would do it. Why not nominate him? Why not elect him? For all of us who are thinking about the possibility, I mean, just imagine, ladies and gentlemen, just imagine the history-making reign that Trump would have and what we'd all love to watch. It would be incredible. Imagine President Trump with subpoena power, wielding the power of the subpoena, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine putting Jack Smith right there in committee, calling Alvin Bragg before Congress, sending a subpoena to Fani Willis. It would be glorious, and it would be history-making. I think they ought to consider it. I think they ought to do it. And speaking of President Trump, I want to segue in here and talk about him in a recent interview that he gave on Meet the Press. We used to say Meet the Depressed. He was talking about the 15-week ban on abortion that's getting some momentum in certain circles. Negotiating, Trump said, with both sides of the issue, both camps, the pro-life and the pro-choice camps, and that he would strive to arrive at a situation that would satisfy both sides, in his words. All right, and of course, right to lifers go completely berserk right away, and they don't, because they're not thinking it through. I'm pro-life. We need to fight for pro-life measures in this republic. Let me get into this and explain, though, that this interview by Trump and the people out there that are suggesting that Trump's pro-life stance is diminishing, that's just not true. We have to begin to think these things through, and we have to frame this interview based on what we know has already happened. We have to remember that President Trump, whose leadership it was, that is the 100% reason why we got rid of Roe v. Wade. It was because of President Trump, because of his leadership. Every one of us who are pro-life, America First conservatives have got to recognize that and not forget it. Because look, folks, it took 40 years for our right to life movement to overturn Roe v. Wade. And it wasn't because of what we did, except other than elect President Trump. It was him, because we have elected other Republicans. We've elected other people who claim to be conservative, who did not do what President Trump did to lay the groundwork to make the appointments necessary to get rid of Roe v. Wade. Because we had rhinos, we had liberals preventing us, and substantive avenues were never created to repeal it until President Trump. And yet Trump, after all of those 40 years of trying to get rid of Roe v. Wade, Trump comes in and does it in less than 4 years. And yes, the decision that came down from the Supreme Court was a correct one. Now, I'm not saying it because I'm partisan and because I'm on the side of life. It was, logically speaking, a correct decision. Roe v. Wade was not constitutional because it took abortion away from state control and gave it to the federal government. And the federal government can't do that. It should be a state issue. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you that if you want to read, I'm telling you, this thing is brilliant. This dissertation, this analysis, and this deconstruction of the Roe v. Wade decision, you've got to give Justice Samuel Alito's ruling on the matter a read. It is powerful. It describes and it proves what a right is, as in the Constitution, and how he proves that our American Constitution does not hold within it the inherent right to an abortion. It's phenomenal. It's I think one of the most logical, one of the most brilliant and intellectually mature writings in all of the history of jurisprudence. So look up the Dobbs decision and read Alito's decision on that. You will be well served by doing that. And so, as such, there's going to be some blue states, there's going to be some red states that either allow abortion or don't. And unless there is a federal ban of some sort, but don't pin your hopes on that, ladies and gentlemen, because just as Roe v. Wade was struck down because the federal government can't allow abortion, it's likely that the court would rule that the federal government can't tell you to stop abortion. That decision is held for the states. Take a look at this interview. Yes, we have enough time. Okay, real quickly, here's Trump talking to the mainstream media about this 15-week ban on abortion. Clip number 1.
So my question for you, Mr. President, is how is it acceptable in America that women's lives are at risk, doctors are being forced to turn away patients in need, or risk breaking the law?
Ready? A little bit of a long answer. I hope you have time.
I hope you have time. I'm here for as long as you have.
So you have Roe v. Wade. For 52 years, people, including Democrats, wanted it to go back to states so that states could make the right. Roe v. Wade, I did something that nobody thought was possible, and Roe v. Wade was terminated, was put back to the states. Now, people, pro-lifers, have the right to negotiate for the first time. They had no rights at all. Because the radical people on this are really the people, the Democrats, that say after 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, and even after birth, you're allowed to terminate the baby.
Democrats aren't saying that. I just have to. Democrats are not saying that. Does it bother you, though, that women say their lives are being put at risk? Do you feel you bear any responsibility? Because, as you say, you are responsible for having Roe v. Wade overturned.
This is an issue that's been going on for a long time, and it's a very polarizing issue. Because of what's been done, and because of the fact we brought it back to the states, we're going to have people come together on this issue. They're going to determine the time, because nobody wants to see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months. Nobody wants to see abortions when you have a baby in the womb. I said with Hillary Clinton when we had the debate, I made a statement, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month. You're allowed to do that, and you shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Again, no one is arguing for that. That's not a part of anyone's platform, Mr. President.
The Democrats are able to kill the baby after birth.
Let me talk to you.
Nobody wants that.
Democrats don't want that
So
either.
we're going to come together.
I want to know what you want. I want to know what you're going to do if you're
We are going to come
Would you
together.
sign federal legislation that would ban abortion at 15 weeks?
No, let me just tell you what I do. I'm going to come together with all groups, and we're going to have something that's acceptable. Right now, to my way of thinking, the Democrats are the radicals, because after 4 and 5 and 6 months, but you have to say this, after birth, you have New York State and other places that pass legislation where you're allowed to kill the baby after birth.
Mr. President, I want to give voters who are going to be weighing in on this election a very clear sense of where you stand on this.
I think they're all going to like me. I think both sides are going to like me. What's going to have to happen is you're going to have to listen. You're asking me a question. What's going to happen is you're going to come up with a number of weeks or months. You're going to come up with a number that's going to make people happy, because 92% of the Democrats don't want to see abortion after a certain period of time.
federal ban landed on your desk if you were reelected, would you sign it at 15
Are you
weeks?
talking about a complete ban?
A ban at 15 weeks.
Well, people are starting to think of 15 weeks. That seems to be a number that people are talking about right now.
Would you sign that?
I would sit down with both sides and I'd negotiate something, and we'll end up with peace on that issue for the first time in 52 years. I'm not going to say I would or I wouldn't. I mean, DeSantis is willing to sign a 5-week and 6-week ban.
Would you support that? You think that
I
goes
think what
too
he
far?
did is a terrible thing and a terrible mistake. But we'll come up with a number. But at the same time, Democrats won't be able to go out in 6 months, 7 months, 8 months and allow an abortion.
Mr. President, when you talk about negotiating, I think a lot of people think to themselves, this is an issue that they care about deeply in their hearts.
I care about it
They know
too.
where they stand, and they want to know where you stand. As you know, some anti-abortion groups are really looking for some clarity from you. So let me just ask you to put a fine point on this. Should the federal government impose any abortion restrictions, or should it be completely left up to the states?
No, I don't think you should be allowed to have abortions well into a pregnancy.
But what about the question I just asked you?
No, we're going to agree to a number of weeks or months or however you want to define it. And both sides are going to come together, and both sides, and this is a big statement, both sides will come together, and for the first time in 52 years, you'll have an issue that we can put behind us.
Okay, so let's continue to frame this whole thing up. You've heard me say on many of my shows that we are in the midst of a great reawakening to the divine providence of God. And I believe that this great reawakening to this divine providence of God is going to be greater even than what the founding fathers experienced in their time. We've been thrust into this abject chaos, this immorality of the radical left, and it's all purposeful on their part. They are a coalition of immorality. All of these truths are based on evidence of the obvious. All you have to do is look around. And what we've experienced is horrific. The border and all of the evils that have poured into our country, children being trafficked, children being told that happiness can be achieved if you just mutilate your genitalia. Imagine that. The robbing of parents' rights with regards to school and school issues. All of these things. So we've got to continue to work for this reawakening, the reawakening to the morality of God and the founding fathers. The thought of killing a baby within or outside of a mother's room was never a thought that occurred to the founding fathers because it's immoral, it's unheard of, they didn't have the capability, whatever, but they didn't conceive of such an idea. It is not a right that is codified in the United States Constitution. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with me. Picking up right on this when we come back. DeterminedPatriotismConference.us is where you need to go. DeterminedPatriotismConference.us to see General Flynn, Mike Lindell, Tom Renz, myself, Christy Hutcherson, Ann Vandersteel, Mel Kay, the Kansas GOP Chairman Mike Brown, Thad Snyder, election integrity expert, and many, many others. Dr. Jane Ruby, Karen Kingston, Father James Altman will be there. DeterminedPatriotismConference.us. Use promo code Doug and get $10 off the price of a ticket. I'll be right back right after this. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Doug Billings here on the set of my show, The Right Side. I want to talk to you about my Determined Patriotism Conference. I say on the show, we meet in determined prayer. We meet in determined patriotism. Determined patriotism is the hard work of restoring our republic to the divine providence of God and the true intent of our founding fathers. We'll learn specific ways by which you can get involved in your local level. Learn about how to do that, to reclaim the republic from this coalition of immorality from the radical liberal left. But Doug, I think that I heard somewhere that November 10th and 11th is opening day for deer season. Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand that your right to hunt, among many other rights, are at risk? Put your priorities in order. Hunting can wait. Save the republic. Come out to Kansas City, November 10th and 11th. DeterminedPatriotismConference.us and join myself, General Michael Flynn, Mike Lindell, Tom Renz, Father James Altman, Mel Kay, Ann Vandersteel, Karen Kingston, Dr. Jane Ruby, Mike Brown, the Kansas GOP chairman, some sheriffs, local election integrity expert Thad Snyder, and many, many more. determinedpatriotismconference.us. Specific ways by which we can save our republic. Nothing, not even deer season, ladies and gentlemen, is more important than that. Put your priorities in order. Believe it. For the republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that you could change the trajectory of your aging process? Look and feel better, live younger, be more active, less pain when you move around, sleep better, diminish the lines and the wrinkles on your face? Really? This is what I'm telling you. It's possible. You see, low stem cell activity happens when we get older, and it could be causing many of the health problems that some people have in the world today. Because as we get older, we have less stem cell activity, which means we age faster and we heal slower. The secret is a clinically proven and patented phototherapy non-transdermal patch, whose technology is the result of over 90 clinical studies and over 20 years of research. Your healthier life can begin today, and you can discover true age reversal. Age reversal, ladies and gentlemen. Please go to liveyongerwithdoug.us. liveyongerwithdoug.us, ladies and gentlemen. Get over there today. Or if you'd like, text my name, Doug, to 41372. Doug, text it, 41372. And get over to liveyongerwithdoug.us. Get younger, feel younger. I'm doing it. I'm wearing this patch. I feel great. And so will you. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Right Side with Doug Billings, where I'm fulfilling the meaning of life by entering into your life to make differences for the better, ladies and gentlemen. So we need in this country this reawakening. We need to have a reawakening to the divine providence of God, a spiritual reawakening that leads us to a society of life. We have to pray. Of course we do. But prayer without work is useless, folks. We have to begin to reawaken and do the work of what I call determined patriotism. You know, we say on the program, I do quite often, we meet in determined prayer and determined patriotism. It's going to take all of that. Determined prayer, determined patriotism, doing the work that our prayer is asking for. A reawakening of morality within this republic is what's needed, that rises up and that it smothers all of the evil that's in the world, the murder of children, of babies within and outside of the womb of their mother. This is a spiritual battle, and spirituality is part of our Constitution, ladies and gentlemen. God and his divine providence are woven throughout the fabric, the very language of our founding fathers and our founding documents. And I know that we're on this path to a spiritual reawakening that's going to possess the majority of Americans and convert them to the belief and the truth that abortion cannot be part of a humane and a holy society. We are a holy people, a people of God. And I should clarify that. The majority of people in this country believe that abortion is murder. We now need to get the majority to believe that we need to create in America the society of life, the society that will not tolerate putting people to death, babies, adults. We have to get to that point too, if we're honest, ladies and gentlemen. Trump, by virtue of his Supreme Court appointments, has removed abortion from being a constitutional right, because it never was a constitutional right, ladies and gentlemen. And so liberals now, of course, true to form, will begin to try to change the narrative. They'll begin to try to claim falsely, of course, that we conservatives want to ban abortion on the federal level. Not true. We know that pursuing that is probably not going to pass the test of the Supreme Court, because we've just proven in that court that the federal government doesn't have the right to impress upon us any view or belief of any issue. It didn't have the right to impress upon us that abortion was legal. And it might not, we would have to brace ourselves for it, might not rule that it has the power to take abortion away as a right to people in this country. Return it to the states, as they said. These issues have to be decided at the state level. So what Trump is doing here in this parlay back and forth and in this interview that you saw, what he does in situations like this is that he uses the art of the deal. He navigates the issues. He looks at the polls. He does, as he should. And there's 85% of the people in this country, ladies and gentlemen, who would likely be okay with a 15-week ban on abortion. And if he, meaning President Trump, thinks DeSantis went too far, he's right. And that's what he's talking about in this interview. He knows that 85% of the people that Trump is seeking would be okay with a 15-week ban. So let's don't be too quick to condemn Trump for not being 100% pro-life. Screw the 85. We need 100% anti-abortion. Well, so folks, these things often happen in baby steps. Again, 40 years of Roe v. Wade. 40 years we tried to get that thing overturned. Trump did it in 4 years. So baby steps, right? Now, Trump gave us a gigantic leap forward with the elimination of Roe v. Wade. But most of the time, things happen in baby steps. So in our world of politics, negotiation, bargaining, and so forth, this is where we are. It's not our desired end state, I grant you that, but it's where we are now. Ultimately, we want to work for a society that honors and values all human life, from conception to natural death. And we have to relish our victories, take hope in them. I think we have to be grateful for the baby steps that we've seen, for the giant leaps that President Trump gave us. Conception to natural death. And yes, we are going to have to take a good, long, hard look at the death penalty as conservatives. Now, I'm not going to convince any of you who believe in the death penalty. I'm not here to do that right now. All I will say is this: if Jesus were in the room, he would not pull the switch to kill somebody on death row. He would not push the button that injects someone with a lethal injection. Well, it's biblical, Doug. It's Old Testament, maybe. Not in Jesus' time, not in Jesus' word and way. And we have to have the moral high ground. Anyone who would claim that we have to be pro-life has to be pro-life. Everyone, no matter what they've done, has within them the divine spark of human dignity given to them by God, no matter what they have done. Adolf Hitler had the divine spark of human dignity and life that God granted him, and he made horrendous, evil choices in life. But it didn't take away his divine holiness and sanctity of human life. And we need to think that through as conservatives. The moral high ground, in my opinion, is to be pro-life all the way around, from conception to natural death. For those of you that would be bent on retribution and revenge, maybe it would be some solace to you to think that life in jail is much worse than death, right? Well, no, it's not, because they'd go to hell, and that's the point. Well, we've got to get over the society of death thing must come to an end. We've been a society of death for far too long. We need to turn to a society of life, which is to say a society of God and a society of morality. Conception to natural death. That is the moral high ground. Trump wants to make the next step the 15-week ban in this series of baby steps to achieving the society of life. No abortion after 15 weeks. So don't disparage President Trump, and whatever you do, don't abandon him just because we're at this phase of this issue. Just because we're taking this particular baby step, don't abandon him. Stick with him as we pursue all of the baby steps that are going to be necessary to get us to this majority that we're seeking, the God-loving people in this country in every state, to awaken to the value of human life and the respect of it. Blue states, red states, all of them coming together under a new society of life based in morality, principles of God, our founding documents, which perfectly complement God, and morality. And over time, that we just realize that our society has become a life-affirming, a God-loving conglomeration of patriots who love God and country, ladies and gentlemen. Throughout the republic, we hope for that. So Trump got rid of Roe v. Wade. Let's work together to help President Trump achieve our desired end state, which is our goal of a spiritual reawakening that brings the majority of people to the side of life and to the side of realizing that life from conception to natural death must be protected at all costs and in every case. That's where we need to be, ladies and gentlemen. That's the moral high ground. That's the true shining city on the hill that will be the salvation of ourselves and for those who follow us. That ends, that end state, that goal. Believe it, ladies and gentlemen, for the Republic. God bless you. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings. The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Doug Billings here on the set of my show, The Right Side. I want to talk to you about my Determined Patriotism Conference. I say on the show, we meet in determined prayer. We meet in determined patriotism. Determined patriotism is the hard work of restoring our republic to the divine providence of God and the true intent of our founding fathers. We'll learn specific ways by which you can get involved in your local level. Learn about how to do that, to reclaim the republic from this coalition of immorality from the radical liberal left. But Doug, I think that I heard somewhere that November 10th and 11th is opening day for deer season. Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand that your right to hunt, among many other rights, are at risk? Put your priorities in order. Hunting can wait. Save the republic. Come out to Kansas City, November 10th and 11th. DeterminedPatriotismConference.us and join myself, General Michael Flynn, Mike Lindell, Tom Renz, Father James Altman, Mel Kay, Ann Vandersteel, Karen Kingston, Dr. Jane Ruby, Mike Brown, the Kansas GOP chairman, some sheriffs, local election integrity expert Thad Snyder, and many, many more. DeterminedPatriotismConference.us. Specific ways by which we can save our republic. Nothing, not even deer season, ladies and gentlemen, is more important than that. Put your priorities in order. Believe it. For the republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.